Hi, I'm Shaleen. Welcome to this episode about social media and minimalism. The outset, why even discuss social media? We've had other types of media before, newspapers, television, cable TV. Those provided enough distraction. But what's particularly special about social media? Why so much chatter about it being a problem? Today we have a guest. His name is Rahul Mehta. He's from the digital content space. And I'd like first to welcome him. Welcome, Rahul.
Thank you, Shaleen. It's great to be here.
And Rahul, would you just share for the audience a little bit about your background, please?
Right. So I think your question there was, why is social media a problem? And my background will be that answer. Agencies like us create content for people to watch all the time.
You're the bad guy.
I'm the bad guy, apparently. Okay. Everyone's got to make money, right? Okay, so I run an agency where we create content for brands. And the reason why there is so much chatter about social media not being a problem, but just being everywhere, is because agencies like us, or brands that work with us, figure out a way to reach their target audience at the right time, at the right price, at the right place, and all the time. You know, back in the day when there was just papers, it was one paper for the audience at large. Television was one ad or one TV show for the audience at large. Social media, or rather digital as a macro perspective, is very catered to an individual, right? Even in the same household, your wife and you will have totally different things you consume. And basis that consumption.
How is it different for my wife and myself? And what sort of technology enables that?
So you've probably heard of this word called the algorithm, right? Everyone says the algorithm this and the algorithm that. Well, it's true. Your consumption patterns would maybe revolve around your interests. So that could be, again, I'm going stereotypical, but that could be cars and bikes and, Hollywood movies and The Godfather, for example. And your wife would probably like to see travel shows or things to do with the kids, maybe fashion, right? Let's take an example. You will never get a lingerie ad if it's not your anniversary. She will never get a Gillette ad, maybe never, right? Because you may buy lingerie for her, she'll never buy a Gillette razor for you, right? Why does that happen? Because these brands know that men will buy it during the anniversary, but never ever will think about it.
So the algorithm is watching my behavior and customizing content for me?
Even when you don't know. So if you've probably heard of things like, your friends telling you, I was just talking about this and here comes an ad.
Sure.
That is because things like Alexa, Siri, Google Home, Apple Home, they're all listening to words.
It's not just serendipity.
No, I wish, but it's not. It's technology. And because of technology being so intrinsically part of our lives, there is so much chatter about digital, under which there's social media, which is the highest form of consumption.
Yeah, and I can see that can obviously be a challenge because I'm getting content that I like, that caters to me, and what's to prevent me from consuming more of what I like? I mean, it's ticking all the boxes. That doesn't sound like always a thing I can control. And that can be a problem, but okay, let's sort of say that we know that this can be a problem and we'll come to that side. But what do you think are some of the positive sides of social media? What can we really use this for in a common person's life?
Right. So the reason why social media is a success is because of all its positive sides, right? The speed at which content travels, the speed at which news travels, the reviews of a newly launched show, the reviews of a restaurant. Social media can potentially make a business. Yes, it can also break a business, but well, that's not why you went there. That's not why the business went there. The business went there to make itself, right? There are brands who advertise on social media. There are brands who do lead generation on social media. And on the other side, there are users who take advantage of these brands reaching out to them, right? So if there is a girl who'd gone to the US and looking for that particular bag, she's going to see it on social media because that was targeted, and without going to the US, now she's got that bag hand delivered, right? We all know e-commerce is pretty simple. We all know e-commerce is part of our lives because of Amazon. It's so simple. So the good sides of social media is you can now do things without having time, which is good. Well, the bad side is, I'll repeat the same words, you can now do things without having time. So it's how you look at this statement. So the reason
it's almost too easy.
It's too easy. It's like, for example, Netflix, when one episode gets over, you don't even need to press anything on the remote because in 3 seconds the next episode loads. On YouTube, you're looking at ads, they go, you can skip ad. Yeah, but now ads itself are for 5 seconds. So you wanted to skip, but you can't, right? Anyways, point is, social media always finds a way because technology always finds a way, and we're all evolving. Social media is evolving. These all our Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Google, Meta, all platforms are all evolving.
I get that it's obviously a boon for companies and corporations to target their customer base and their audience. But for that consumer, for a user, what can I do to manage the usage of social media in a more healthy and positive way where it contributes to my own life?
Right. So that's where we come to the topic, right? Of social media and minimalism. Like any other thing that you are confident about in terms of usage, you should use in limited quantities. Let's take chocolate for an example.
Right.
We all love chocolate. We've loved chocolates since we were kids. But would our parents give us chocolates at any point? We asked. No, we had to earn it. Maybe we got a chocolate once a week. Maybe when we grew up and we had our own money, we would have a chocolate once a day, but eventually we would diet that down, right? How much chocolate to eat. Right. Similarly, with that same metaphor, social media is a chocolate bar. You can have it all you want, but eventually it's going to cause issues. So how do we control it? We control it by making sure that we use it at the right place at the right time. Let's start easy. When we go out for dinner with family, don't be on social media. When you're driving, just from a safety perspective, at every traffic light, don't be on social media. Shut out those WhatsApp group notifications because, FOMO. FOMO happens every time something happens on social media or every time something happens on a WhatsApp group, and you want to be a part of that excitement. So shut your WhatsApp notifications if that group is not an urgent group, right? Don't be on social media at dinner time or food time or when you're watching TV. Watch it only when you'd want to consume data. Treat it like a newspaper. Before going to bed, maybe in the bathroom or when you get up in the morning, just keep it simple. Again, it's extremely tough to participate in what I'm asking you to do, but that is the way. You have to have self-control and use it minimal.
But I know that with something like social media, it's easy to say it's about self-control, but perhaps more than self-control, we need to set boundaries that become almost part of our daily routines and habits. So it's beyond self-control, because if it's always coming at me and it's always fulfilling a need, no matter who I think I am, I'm not going to have the control to resist it. But if I set a boundary and I switch off my phone at night, for example, it's not going to be sending me notifications. It's not going to wake me up early in my sleep cycle. And, maybe you can talk a little bit about such hacks that we can use as users and to make our relationship with social media healthy. Because it's not something that's terrible. It does give us a lot of information. It does satisfy a lot of my curiosity. But I just don't want it to take the better of me at a time when I don't want it to.
Yeah, Shaleen, so like you said, it is extremely difficult for us to take that step towards finding that balance. Hence the word hack. We use hacks when there's no other option, right? Or we use hacks as a shortcut. But social media itself is a shortcut. Social media itself is a hack. To find a hack for anything, we go to social media. And now we're asking us to reduce that consumption. So you see what kind of a circle it's forming? It's literally like the circle of life, right? So we cannot cut down social media just by saying let's cut down. It has to be an extremely self-awareness moment where we say that, it's like saying tasty food. You want to eat all the tasty food you have, no one's stopping you. But there is a point of time where you feel fat or where you feel obese, or where you feel unhealthy, where you feel unfit. Now that could be because you've seen fit people around you. That could be because you've started to feel uncomfortable within your body. You could feel that because you started to get some problems, right? There will be some symptoms that will surface.
I think that makes so much sense, because the point that you just raised there was that of self-awareness. And you got to know that when it's starting to become a problem for you. You got to know when all of that food is just creating the wrong type of reactions in your body, and you're beginning perhaps to feel too much stress, or you're beginning to feel left out, or that feeling of FOMO, and it's creating negative feelings and emotions within you. Now maybe those are some red flags, and you need to be aware of them. So moving forward onto that, what do you sort of recommend as some of the boundaries that we can create around ourselves to make a very healthy use of social media?
I think from a bird's eye view, remove the conjunction between the real world and social media. That means when you're doing things in the real world, stop being on social media. For example, everyone does this, and extremely tough to not do. When you're at a restaurant and when the food comes, you don't eat food for the first 1 minute. You're just taking pictures. You're going there for the experience.
Right.
You're going there for the taste. Well, enjoy that food. Enjoy the experience. Enjoy the way the bartender mixed that drink. And don't take a photo or don't take a video just to show it to your friends or just to put it up on Instagram. Yes, once in a while it's okay, but not every time. So take that conscious decision. 1. 2, when you're with people, don't be on your phone. Because not the fact that it's rude, it's one step closer towards reality, right? We were real. We've now become digital nomads. And now we're realizing that being digital nomads is not the best because, well, there's so much chatter about social media being a problem. So yes, it is. Too much of anything is a problem. Similarly, too much of social media or digital consumption is a problem. So when you're with people, be with people organically.
I think that's super awesome. I mean, just really taking in what's around us, being in the moment, allowing ourselves to be ourselves rather than what you said was the imaginary side or the imaginary world. And I think that's really wonderful boundary if we can just sort of, again, like you so beautifully put it, just stay within the moment and keep it real in whatever context we're in, whether we're with someone or whether we're in a restaurant or whether we're out maybe watching a sunset. Why do we need to take a picture of that sunset and show it to the world? Why not just take it really in and let it absorb where it matters most, which is right in the center of the chest.
Exactly.
So yeah, more heartful moments, keep them more real and not just digital.
Yep.
But
I do have a point. I think technology or brands are now understanding this phenomenon, right? So like, for example, if you take the iPhone, there is a feature of too close to the screen.
Okay.
So if you're too close to the screen, it'll just have a blank screen on your phone and it'll tell you, we think you're too close to the screen, move away. So features like this, and it also has a feature where it tells you how much you've spent on every app. But eventually features like this will help us understand consumption better, right? So move away from the screen, or hey, it's been a while, you've been on Instagram, move away. Wow. It's called doom scrolling, right? You scroll till the doom of time.
So you'll get a notification that, hey, maybe you've been at it too long.
Maybe you've been at it too long. Maybe it's maybe you can set that I want to be on so-and-so app or on social media in general for 30 minutes a day. Right. When it hits 30 minutes, it'll notify you. It's like a snooze alarm.
Sure.
Right? You can choose to ignore it, but it's telling you. So it's a slow process. We're also slowly understanding that, okay, well, let me listen to the app because it's understanding that it's been too long. So let's give it a rest and let's get back to the real world. Slow process, but we gotta get there.
Nice. And there's another aspect of it. We're sort of adults, but then there's the children out there, and for them they find it harder to make these boundaries, and they don't even want limits set on their phone. But what advice would you give the parents to help their own children to manage this and navigate the world of social media?
So there are two aspects of this. The more we restrict it, the more the children, at least younger children, would want to use it. It's like, because
Sure.
we say no to chocolate, they like and love chocolates and that's all they want to eat.
Sure.
So don't make it a thing. Don't make it a thing where you can only see TV on Sunday or you can only have YouTube on post your class. Right? Let it be a regular thing. It's like saying you can only have water when you go down to play. He's going to look forward to that water, right? And he's always going to think about water. But is that a thing? No. You can have water whenever you want, right? And eventually, how much water will he have or she have? So of course, show it to them, have restrictions like the way you have restrictions, not just for kids. You'd want to watch a movie and that's it. If there are 7 episodes, you don't want to watch
set the example as well.
Exactly. You have to set the example at home just by not making it a thing and by using it just like any other item at home.
Like having a drink, perhaps.
Having a drink. You have 5 drinks every night. That's what your children are going to see, and they're going to end up thinking that having 5 drinks every night is okay. But if you drink only when your friends come, which I hope they don't come every day, which only, maybe on the weekend or once in a month, then it's okay. Then it's okay to have a drink once in a month. So, and if your 6-year-old or 7-year-old who cannot have a drink now, he's not going to obviously have a drink, but he's going to understand the fact that when he grows up, it's okay to have a drink once in a month. You're not even stopping him, so he's not running after it. I think it's that simple.
Yeah, and this whole aspect of technology, it's constantly evolving, and we know where it started, we know where it is now. Where do you think this is going, and how much do you think AI is going to make this even more potent, and what do we need to do about further sort of protecting ourselves and protecting what's real within our lives, or keeping what's really important to us up front and center?
So I'll be lying if I'll tell you I'm not scared, right? Like you said, AI is getting more and more potent. Forget AI, just technology at this stage is still an arm's length away. But it was a meter away, it was a kilometer away, it was miles and miles away. Now it's at an arm's length. Soon it's going to be at a 1-inch distance.
Yeah,
and then it's
probably
going to
be within your
us.
skin.
It's going to be within our skin. There are things, there are studies that say it's going to be, under the ear, here.
Right.
And it's going to be a phone, it's going to be a directory, it's going to be a GPS, it's going to be a check on your social and health. I mean, maybe those are good things, but I think at our generation, it's too much of a
sci-fi movie. Maybe the younger guys will grow up with it, so it's okay, and we'll be really old at the time and act like old uncles saying that back in our day it was not like this. So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think, it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting to watch and see how we use it. Of course, technology is going to go all over the place, right? Like flights go at supersonic. Did we ever think of that before supersonic? No. But they've not really messed around with that. It is used for warfare. But that's not the case with technology here.
I find this super interesting because, again, with this technology, like you're saying, infinity is the possibility. There is outcomes possible to beyond infinity, and we have only 2 hands and 2 legs and finite lifespans. We're not going to live forever. We cannot be physically everywhere, but we've got all this technology and information coming our way. So I think in the end, it is really upon ourselves that we make the right choices and we use this technology in the best way possible to enhance our lives. And that's the minimalist choice, which is really seeing where this technology adds value to ourselves. And it's not something to be thrown out because that's not realistic, but really to embrace it and sort of say where it's going to really improve and impact our lives. And as a developer, how do you see that as a challenge for yourselves? Is it really helping people, or do you worry about that sometimes?
See, from a business perspective, I shouldn't worry about it, right? Because my business is growing. But that's the problem. Everyone is thinking about their own agenda, which is not bad. Everyone should think about their own agenda. Everyone looks at mediums to reach their potential target audience, which is also okay. From a personal perspective, I think consistency is what I've said, and I'll stick to that. You have to use it well. You have to use it like any other form of entertainment. How many movies can you watch in a day? Will you?
Sure.
Has anyone watched 10 movies a day? Even if they were 1 hour each? You won't. You'll just get bored of it. Has anyone, gone for like a 25-day non-stop long drive? It's great. Long drives are fun. Watching movies are fun. But how much can you do it, right? But the problem with social media, it's catered to you. So that's when you don't know where to stop, which is why it's called doom scrolling. But to answer your question, it has to be a mental click. That switch has to come, saying that, that's it. I've had enough. Like, I know people who say that I don't touch my phone for the first 1 hour when I get up in the morning. Great, that's the first step. Or I don't watch any screen before sleeping so I can sleep nicely.
An hour before sleep.
An hour before sleeping. Or when I'm in office, I don't, watch any entertainment.
How about taking email off your phone?
You can take email off your phone. Again, an extremely difficult thing to do because your employer will not allow that. It's kind of embarrassing to get an email on a Friday and not reply till a Monday evening, So maybe that's difficult, but if you're the boss and if you think you can manage, great. But start off with small things, right? Start off with that WhatsApp group notification.
Sure. I think it's been a fascinating conversation, Rahul. And what I really loved about what you said, the golden nugget that I'm taking is keep real and keep virtual.
Yep.
And sort of make sure you make that boundary and use it the best possible way to enhance your life rather than taking away from those real moments, those real relationships, and the time when you can really enjoy life to the fullest.
Yep. Totally agree. Totally on the same page. Yeah, thank you for having me. I think it was a great chat. All the points that you asked are rather questions that people are anyways asking, but no one's really getting into it. You're the first one I've met who we've discussed this at length, and I'm sure whoever's listening to this podcast is now well aware of good, bad, ugly, thanks to you, Shaleen. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Rahul. And thank you all for listening in. We'll see you next time.
See you.